Make it official in 3, 2, 1. The following radio program you're about to listen to is provided to you, the listener, by Inked Geek Studios. Get this and other great shows at inkedgeekstudios.com. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mind of a Geek. We are back. We took a couple weeks off scheduling events. You know, things happen. But we are here. A big hello to the live Twitch chat that is always in the house and always awesome. I am joined, as always, by Brandon. Brandon, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine. Did you like my timing on the beer there?
I did. I'm like scrambling to find the bottle opener.
Right. So as he said, I am Brandon, and I spend an abnormal amount of time exporting things to external hard drives.
Wait, what?
Exactly. Muddle it over as you will.
So, we're at a different angle. We're back at like the original angle.
Oh, we are back at the original
It's always
angle.
been this room, but it's always being shuffled around.
Back to missionary, Nate. Aren't we boring?
Jeez. But yeah, well, I guess it would be like reverse, because weren't we starting against didn't we start against that wall?
Oh, I had you against the wall in the beginning. That's true.
For fuck's sake. So yeah, we're back. It's good to be back. I'm on a Mac. I'm testing things. So if things don't sound right for the podcast listeners, if the audio seems off, I'm recording with different software. Bear with me.
Nate's
but
back.
the
He's on the
content,
Mac.
the content should still be there. So I'm back on a Mac. Yeah, actually, I am back on it. I'm so happy. Anyway, so we have a guest this evening, as is the nature of this show.
Wouldn't that be weird if we had the show with no guest? The show's at an end. We have no more guests.
Just get like a pre-recorded camera of some, like what he's doing right now. Like he's just blinking and smiling. Like, when are they going to introduce me? Like, we'll just do that.
Here's that. I'm smiling out of politeness, but really, I'm fucking unimpressed.
So I'm sure I'm going to butcher his name because I am a bad host and did not ask how to properly pronounce it in the pre-show. But our guest this evening,
I can't wait for this,
is the host of INRS, which is It's Not Rocket Surgery, which is a radio show based out of Melbourne, Australia. Vlado Kekoc?
Very close and better than most people do. So congratulations.
Cool. So what is the actual pronunciation?
So what we call here in Australia, WOGs would say is Vlado Kekoc.
Okay.
But most Australians say Vlado Kekoc. So you nailed it.
Well, there we go. So again, thank you for taking the time to come on. It is now it is Saturday afternoon for you right now, right?
It is. It's just after 1:30. So yeah.
He's from the future.
I've had a Saturday morning of little athletics and all the running around that comes with the Saturday morning and talking to you guys now.
Welcome to the past.
Very cool.
So given the name of your show, does that make you a Trailer Park Boys fan?
No. I know of Trailer Park Boys, but I've not seen any of this stuff.
Rocket Surgery is right out of Trailer Park Boys in my world.
Really?
Yeah, that's a direct reference to that show. There's a character on that show who says rocket appliance and rocket surgery all the time.
Okay. So when did Trailer Park Boys come out?
Not that big of a fan. I have no idea.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
No, it was just something it's the mashup of it's not rocket science or it's not brain surgery, so it just became it's not rocket surgery.
Beautiful.
So you said here in the submission that you put in, it's Science, Tech, and Geek Culture Radio Show. So you guys cover, I assume, all ranges of things. It's just kind of like a geek variety type thing.
Anything that interests us on the day. So it's latest science news or tech news. So Elon Musk and SpaceX has been featuring heavily the last few weeks. Juno, when it was all the rage. We talk about flying cars, flying taxis, automated vehicles, the latest Marvel or Star Wars movies. Hoping to see Black Panther tomorrow. So
yeah, that was my next question. Black Panther, go, but never mind.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's on. We're going tomorrow to see the show, and I'll probably talk about it on tomorrow night's show. So
Nice. Now, your show, now you had mentioned that it's available in podcast form when time allows you to post-process. So so you actually have like a radio show, like it's on FM radio.
yes, it's on FM radio, 98.9 Northwest FM. It's a local community radio, so broadcasts to the northwestern suburbs of Melbourne. It's non-commercial. It's it's probably like your PBS type. Network.
Like public radio.
So yes, I've been doing that, and the reason I did it that way is because I couldn't afford the equipment to set up a podcast, but I could afford a year-long membership, which allowed me to record in the NorthWestFM studios. So I went that way rather than setting up a podcast by buying kit, which I've since acquired. But while I was trying to set up for this for today, I blew out my Behringer power supply, so I could use my mixer. So I have to resort to my Yeti blue Yeti. So it's a good backup.
That's cool that you have a year-long membership for broadcasting on the radio. So does that give you time in a studio? It must.
Yeah, so I get it's an hour and a half slot, but given we're on from 10:30 at night to midnight, and there's no one coming on after us, we usually go to about 12:30.
Really?
So
that is super cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. Because see, I would think now.
So wait, sorry. Given the year-long membership, like, do you get to pick your time slot after that, or do you have to pay extra, or what?
No. So you're allocated. So you nominate the times that you would like.
Yeah.
And if there's a slot there, they can give it to you, or they tell you when there's a slot available, and you can choose to take it or not. So I started off on a Friday night, and then when the Sunday night slot came up, it sort of suited perfectly with family and work and all the other things. So, and we just stay there. And good thing is nobody else wants it, so nobody else is asking for that.
Is that space?
To midnight slot.
Sorry. Is that space at a university or what?
So, no. So local councils, so are equivalent to your counties. They set aside a tin shed out the back of a tennis park and the community hall. So there's a tin shed in a suburb called Hadfield here in Melbourne that has 2 studios and a green room and a kitchen and a bathroom, and that's the facilities of Northwest FM.
Am I wrong to be sort of enamored by that?
No, that's really cool. Because see, what I was going to say was that it's funny because that's the opposite that I would think. Because you had mentioned that you have that because like it was a more financially sensible route for you at the time than buying podcasting equipment. And I would think that would, at least over here, based off of my limited knowledge, like that would be more expensive. Like renting studio time and
right. Because given the option, wouldn't you love to do that?
No, that would be amazing. Yeah, like that would be really cool. Like to sit down, especially to be on the FM. Because my next question was, do they not give you the means of recording that? Like you mentioned as far as like the podcasting equipment, but could you not just take what you put live on FM and like have like a digital audio recorder that records that as well?
So the studio stream, the station streams, so it's live streaming as well, so you can listen anywhere in the world. And most of our listeners are actually overseas most of the time.
Nice.
In London or the US or in the Caribbean, usually family and friends. You know what it's what it's like.
Right.
Yeah. It's a very ancestral time here at the podcast studio.
It is.
But so I capture the stream on a computer at home, and the studio does record. So I record in studio. But part of the, I guess, copyright issues is I have to remove any music that's played on the show and any of the commercial.
I see.
Community station break. When the time allows, is me having to remove those bits that go to air that I'm not allowed to distribute through podcast form.
I see. Okay, so even though so it is kind of a live to hard drive format. It's just you have to edit out what's not actually yours.
That's right. Yes.
That makes sense. So, and how long have you been doing the show for?
So I think 6 years. I've done 156 episodes, and that's like weekly. We took a 2-year hiatus. I think I probably did maybe 5 or 6 episodes while I was living in the States between 2013 and 2015. And so since I've been back, it's been, other than illness, we've been going every Sunday night. So
nice.
Consistency is always good. It's a lesson we need to learn.
Yeah, no, it is. Life gets in the way.
So you said you lived in the States for 3 years?
2 years. So
2
from
years.
October 2012, I think we landed. So we were there for 2013. 2013, and we left in October 2015. So I've been back in Australia for 2 years.
Are you happy to be out?
With what's going on in politically, absolutely.
Because I think at this point anybody would be happy to be out.
Well, I always figure that the rest of the world views us as like charlatans and fools. We're just such an egomaniacal people. Like I just imagine that everybody else is like, man, you guys need to chill.
I think we've kind of become like the redheaded stepchild of the world, haven't we?
I always thought that everybody looked at us like we were a joke. Maybe not. I don't know.
I said that joke one time. I was my substitute teacher. I said it to somebody. I was like, I don't remember the context, so I can't make it funny. But I remember like I had made the redheaded stepchild joke, and my teacher was like, I was a redheaded stepchild. What's that supposed to mean? I'm like, fuck.
Have you not noticed?
Yeah, but you're not a stepchild.
I am.
That's the difference. It has nothing to do with the redhead. It's just the stepchild thing.
Well, I'm just an asshole then. But you know what? I own it.
So what can you, as you broadcast over there, are there limitations in terms of the derogatory nature of your show? I haven't listened to your show, I'm sorry to say, but
no stress. I mean, you're in the majority there. Most definitely, before you're allowed to broadcast, there's a whole heap of training that we need to do, which is like 2 weekends worth of training. So we meet broadcast regulators requirements, but so no slander, no limited swearing. Our time slot's all right, but we usually refrain. The training said, don't say anything you wouldn't say to your grandmother. That's the rule of thumb that every now and we slip, but like I said, we're at 10:30 at night. Things happen. So
right. So it's just a matter of judgment and
just
not being stupid.
There's a lot of things I would say to my grandmother that I couldn't say on TV.
What's going on with you and your grandmother?
Again, I'm an asshole. No, and that was, I'm glad you went that way, because that was kind of where I wanted to go, was like, because obviously we have the FCC, and it's basically they have your balls in a vice.
Well, you can thank Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake for that.
Well, not even. Well, actually, that
was the paradigm shift with the FCC.
Right. Well, as far as
the moment where radio really got stringent.
Yeah. No, that's true. So I was curious. Yeah, like you had said, as far as the editing, like I mean, you can't just like write out swear, but or I guess be like violently or sexually vulgar. But yeah, like, are they? I mean, like you said, you lived over here for a couple of years. Like, are they as strict over there as they are here, or is there a little bit more freedom? Or
I would say it's more casual here than it is in the States in terms of broadcast. I mean, I guess there's no reason why we can't show nipple on radio here in Australia. If the Justin Timberlake Janet Jackson thing was what caused restrictions in the US, I don't understand, because wasn't that the whole issue with
nipples are scary. I don't know if you know this. Yeah, like I mean, I don't know if you do gaming at all, but like that was the big thing with like the Zelda release that came out when it came out on the Switch. This was the first time we saw Link without a shirt on, and Link has no nipples, and it drove the Nintendo fanboys crazy for like a month.
But not Mario has nipples.
Well, Mario's not an elf; he's a human. Well, he's not. He's a plumber. I mean,
well, it doesn't make any sense anyway. Like, we vilify all of these things, right? But you have, UFC and all these other things. As long as it's a white male, it's fine. But any other time, it's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. Take pornography, for instance. Like,
where do you want me to take it? I mean, I have plenty of screens.
Well, I need you to renew a few subscriptions for me, if you would. But I mean, just anything. Like, our values are so backwards. What we find offensive and taboo versus what we don't.
No, it's funny. You know what?
And yet somehow we're a nihilistic society, but we're not.
Right.
It's like every time we progress a little bit, we get a little bit scared. We better go back a couple decades.
You know, it's funny because...
All right, let's work ahead a little bit. Okay, we're getting pretty open-minded here.
One step...
Holy fuck. Okay, everybody calm down. We got to go back a little bit.
Right.
It's just...
It's America's, like, was it Winston Churchill who described the USSR as an enigma wrapped in a mystery? I'd say the US now is an enigma wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a burrito.
Yeah, and covered in horse shit.
You mentioned the USSR. Our president did want to have a military parade recently.
Oh, yes.
So you can draw parallels to North Korea and everything else. Like, Just what the fuck? I don't have. There's nothing articulate I can say about any of that. It makes no fucking sense to me at all.
I just think it's oddly appropriate that in light of recent events, we have somebody on from a country where it's next to impossible to get a gun.
Oh yeah,
and that makes me very happy.
And I will give that to the Conservative Prime Minister who passed that law. That's good thing he did was pass that law.
Yeah,
right.
At least it's helping people. No,
that's great. And in America, like, you talk to the individual person, they seem sensible. It's all of us as a whole. So like getting rid of guns here, it would never happen.
No.
If everybody could take that step forward, sure.
Right.
So to lighten the mood, how far are you from Tasmania? Not very far, right?
It's a long swim.
Yeah, no, 90 miles more.
Oh no, it's an overnight boat trip. So,
is it really that far?
Yeah, in terms of miles, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's we have a ferry that goes from Melbourne to Tasmania, and you can do overnight or you can do during the day. So basically, it's 12-hour type.
I mean, what the fuck would I know one way or the other?
He's closer than we are.
I figured it was like, you know, Key West to Cuba, 90 miles, 100 miles. But I don't know.
The thing with Bass Strait is one of the most rough water in the world because it's got the roaring 40s, and so it's actually quite rough seas. So you wouldn't have Cubans swimming from Tasmania to Victoria.
It's awful rough out there.
Yeah, no, it threw me off. No, that was I had something about. I don't want to bring it back to firearms though. So
no, I know. I wanted to derail the whole thing before we got too political.
We got too far. No, that's fine. Well, it's funny because even in his submission, he's like, hell, we even talk about taboos like politics and religion.
Yeah, I read that earlier.
But so here's an anti-gun atheist. Have at it. Yeah. So back to the geeky stuff. You mentioned space. Musk just put a rocket into space. It was an exciting event.
Mm-hmm.
It's
so the latest one of the Falcon Heavy from 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I guess now the speculation is in the next million years or so, there's a chance Tesla's going to crash back into Earth, based off of its present trajectory.
Yeah, it could crash into Earth. It could crash into Mars. Who knows? Or more likely, it'd probably crash into something that we value that's orbiting the Earth.
He's really playing the long game with that evil genius thing, huh?
He is, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm a great guy now.
Yeah. I mean, could it be any worse? At least our evil genius would be smart at that point. But no, it's yeah. I mean, hey, look, it's 2018 and we finally got flying cars. So at least we can be happy about that. No, there was a big...
You know what's funny about that is the amount of fuel it took for a car that takes no fuel to get into space.
That's true. Did you see... Now, there was... I got to see if I still have it. Now, I don't want to bring up the idiot in chief again, but I will for this one last thing because it was funny as shit. So I have to find my screenshot of the tweet because I better still have it. I do. So at the time this happened, now being that you're in Australia, I don't know if you saw this, but it's still funny. Trump put out a tweet. It says, "Congratulations, Elon Musk and SpaceX, on the successful Falcon Heavy launch. This achievement, along with NASA's commercial and international partners, continues to show American ingenuity at its best." To which Elon Musk replied him, "I'm from South Africa, you dumbass." And I laughed so hard, and it made me want him to be the evil genius that takes over the world.
Or at least dethrones Trump.
Right. But yeah, so that's pretty exciting.
If we're gonna talk about Trump and we're gonna talk about geeky shit, can we talk about the fact that he's attacking video games again?
Again, I know.
Like that hasn't been played before. No. Let's regulate these things. It's really the reason. No.
Yeah, but it's as if other countries, kids in other countries don't play video games. Because I mean, if it was the video games, every country that had video games, you'd have these shootings, but that's not the case.
No, you have a valid point. What do you do you have an opinion on that? Do you think there's a reason why it's something that's trending here and not everywhere else?
Well, I think it's probably the religious right in the US that has a lot of influence, and their dislike of technology. And I mean, where I was in Maryland, there were Amish and Mennonites around, so you have this greater conservatism in the States. So I guess they see pockets of the population in America, and it's true. There are people like that here in Australia. It's just, they don't seem to have the same political influence or the same voice. So they pick on anything that they see as technology or diversion from traditional cultural norms, like going to church on Sunday and respecting the parents and beating your children and all those sort of things. That's anything that's not like it was back in the 40s and 50s. It must be the reason why things are so bad now.
I totally agree.
Yeah, man, I have the fight constantly.
That goes back to what I said before about being progressive and then backsliding.
Right. Regression.
And
Yeah.
I think in this country, if you could just not have an overweight 70-plus white man in a position of power anymore, you would see a lot of that change.
You'd hope so, but you didn't have it for 8 years, and it seems like the pendulum swung way back the other way.
See,
Right.
it's difficult because like you definitely have your people, and I do. It's just like trolls on the internet. It's just like, I mean, you have your your loud vocal minority, and I mean, obviously, it wasn't enough of a minority to have him not win. So like, there's something to be said there, whatever the case may be. But it's. So they are definitely the louder ones. But the problem is it's kind of a no-win in either way, because you either have somebody like Obama or a Sanders or a Clinton in office, and then the people that are against it scream and shout louder because they hate it, and then you go the complete 180 and put somebody like Trump in office, and then it gives those idiots a voice.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go either way.
They're either fighting against it or
they're going to be mad.
Yeah, they're either fighting against it or they feel justified.
What we really need is a Star Trek scenario where aliens reveal themselves and we all unite as one for a greater purpose.
I still say aliens exist, and then they've observed us and said, no, they're too fucking stupid.
Well,
And
exactly. We haven't achieved warp drive yet, so we're not worthy.
It's like the episode of South Park when have you seen it?
I don't know.
So there's an episode of South Park where Randy steals a thing from the thing in that place.
In the thing, in the place.
Yeah, no, the conductor, yeah. Anyway,
right.
Whatever. He steals this really big sciencey thing and puts it in a derby car.
In a bigger
for the boys.
science-y thing. More sciencey thing.
What is the thing in the?
The dreidel?
Anyway, so he steals this sciencey thing and puts it in a Boy Scout race car, and it ends up creating warp speed.
Okay.
And so because we've now discovered warp speed,
But in the
as
world
a
of
planet,
South Park, does that mean the Canadians come down and talk to us?
No, but that'd be great. So anyway, so aliens come, but then they give the humans a test.
I see.
And they fail the test of greed miserably. The Hadron Collider. That's what I was thinking of.
See.
Which is in Sweden, I think.
Yes.
Switzerland. I knew it was one of the S's. Shit. It was one of the smart S's. Anyway, so the aliens come down and
Leave
give
it
us...
to the guy who's an aerospace engineer to fucking
he
show us
He probably
up.
knew what I was talking about
right?
the whole time. He was
he's
just
hanging you out
enjoying
to
it.
dry. Look at these stupid fucking
it
yanks.
didn't click with me until you mentioned the racing car, and then I remembered the slot car. That Derby, yes, I do remember.
Right. But anyway, so the aliens came down. They gave the humans a morality test, which we obviously failed miserably. And I'm like, all right, you're not welcome. See you later. You're all just too fucking stupid and you're assholes, and we don't want you here. So
if not that, then, a great apocalypse and then a dystopian future where, survival of the fittest, I guess.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, Hunger Games.
No, because that would mean that Trump would be the guy at the Capitol. Well, I don't want that.
True.
He'd have Chris Tucker there as Ruby Rod. It would be weird.
Where has this gone?
So,
I'm so lost. Anything we're talking about.
You mentioned Hadron Collider. It made me think of Cloverfield Paradox. Have you watched that yet?
I have not.
I've watched it 3 times, and everybody says it's really bad. It's definitely not as good as the last Cloverfield movie, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've heard good things and I've heard really bad things, so it's on my to watch list, but I haven't got around to it yet.
If you're into like parallel Earths and the multiverse and all that, it's pretty cool. There's some stuff there that doesn't really make sense,
Yeah, but that's Cloverfield.
No, I know, but this is like your Cloverfield Origins movie. But
Okay.
I mean,
doesn't it take place after?
no,
I thought it took place after.
no,
No?
no. If you sync up the first Cloverfield in this movie, when shit goes to hell in Paradox is the exact moment shit goes to hell in the first movie. So when they fucking fire off the collider in space and rip reality to shreds, spoilers. That's when the first attack happens in the first movie.
Hey, I bet they fire off a collider into space.
Yeah,
I bet
no.
reality's fucked. No, so that's cool.
But given my love for the Dark Tower and just like, Infinite Earths and all that, anything like that, I love. So that's all.
Yeah, I heard your comments on the Dark Tower movie.
No, I'm not talking about the movie. Fuck the movie. The books. We're not going there. I'm not doing this every week.
Wait, hold on. There was a book?
Shut up. Shut up.
I thought it was a movie.
Back against the wall.
I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna tie you down and make you watch it in marvelous 4K.
I'll watch the show. They're gonna reboot the whole thing, so hopefully they do Wizard
Right,
of Glass.
and they're ditching. Like, are they doing the whole like pretending the movie doesn't exist?
I don't know.
Like,
Probably.
is it a
that would
separate
be, that would be
entity?
my assumption.
That seems to be happening a lot lately. Like, one of the ones I'm most excited about is James Cameron is coming back to Terminator, and he's doing a true sequel to Judgment Day, as though
And
nothing,
retconning the rest.
Yeah, as though nothing after Judgment Day exists.
The true sequel.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting because that was the last good one. But that seems to be the whole, and I don't know, like it's supposedly rumors are happening with Star Wars that it's going to happen in Episode 9 too. Apparently, JJ is changing back some of the things that Ryan changed in 8 because he's got the full script. Filming starts in July.
Did you have an opinion on The Last Jedi since you obviously listened?
I actually quite liked it. So I didn't have all the issues that you guys had with.
Not him.
Don't put me in the you guys camp. I loved it.
You quite liked it. What did you quite like?
There were aspects that I recall you not liking, Nate. But no, look. Other than the Casino City section, which I saw as pretty pointless.
Agreeable.
There wasn't anything. I didn't have any issues about Luke's character or Ryan not being true to Luke's character. I saw that was fine. Force time was a little bit of a grind on me in terms of what is this force time? Why is it happening? And I see it, but as an enjoyable movie, I enjoyed it, and it was way better than the prequels. And that might be my issue with, because you love the prequels. I hate the prequels.
I'm a prequels guy.
See, I'm not a huge fan of the prequels. Like I've said a million times, what I respect about the prequels is that they gave us more of an expanded universe, more ships, more Jedi. Without the prequels, you wouldn't have the Clone Wars or Rebels.
Right.
Yeah, and I agree. I absolutely agree 100% with that. I just think George Lucas's need to spell everything out in a really slow and boring way.
A very wooden way.
Exactly. Who cares about the Senate? Who cares about this procedure? And Anakin Skywalker was just
now to play devil's advocate a little bit here, because
before he does that, I agree with you.
As it's known, like you mentioned, I really did enjoy the prequels, and I didn't have the problem that everybody else had with Hayden Christensen as Anakin. Like he was an angsty teen in Episode 2, but I thought he was incredible in Episode 3. Like he got really dark, and I thought he played it well. But so I mean, essentially, you've got the polar opposites though, because again, I also liked The Last Jedi, but you have George Lucas explaining everything to a T, to Rian Johnson having to go back and explain everything on social media after the movie.
Yeah, and that's what I said the last show we did was he had to explain literally everything. Why did you make this choice? Well. Yeah, no. Fuck you.
But is that maybe not also getting the director's commentary just on social media and not having to wait for the DVD?
No.
Honestly, I don't think he should have or even felt the need to explain the stuff.
No.
I think I like it when I walk out of a movie and have questions about things or question people's motives. I mean, that's what I think Empire Strikes Back was great, because you didn't know what was going to happen to Han. You didn't know whether Darth Vader was really Luke's father. There were all these unknown aspects of the movie, and I like having those debates and discussions.
Right. And the world's changed so much now that we have the internet, and just the way people are, we just can't fucking handle it.
Isn't it amazing, though?
Have to have answers now, and
Right.
just everybody's got a bitch. And I'm sure everybody bitched before, but we weren't all connected.
No, you bitched in your little circle.
I mean, what's it been like fucking... When that movie come out?
December.
Right. So here we are.
But it's on digital release in like a month.
Yeah, I know.
So-
I'm going to buy it and watch it again and hate fuck it at home.
So what do you guys think about Han coming out? Han's the solo movie.
Did you see the trailer recut to Sabotage by the Beastie Boys? I just watched that
No,
earlier
I've not
today.
seen it.
I highly enjoyed it. It's not,
Okay.
it should not be something that they actually release. Like that's, JJ did that with Star Trek, and I had my own issues there. But by myself
Okay.
in the car watching it on my phone, I was into that. You're not interested in that movie, are you?
I am. Okay, so I didn't care. It's funny in a way, actually. I'm approaching Han the same way that or Solo the same way that I approached Black Panther.
Yeah, and I finally get you see that, and you fucking love it.
So Black Panther, I had zero desire to see. I didn't care. I wasn't familiar with the character. Comic book movies are really just wearing on me.
Not me.
Like,
I'm into it
I'm,
more.
I'm in the whole like keep it to one a year. Like we don't need 5 in a year.
I need 5 a year.
But I went and saw Jumanji on Wednesday, which was phenomenal. So
Really?
good. Oh yeah, I loved it.
So if he loved it, I'm
I-
probably
I-
not going to like
I
it.
went to Jumanji as a time killer for like 2 hours and ended up watching the movie.
The only
like, it
thing
was
there that
really-
has any allure for me is Amy Pond.
It was like, I mean, I love The Rock. I love The Rock and Kevin Hart. I think they make one of the best comedy duos for modern movies.
Gag me with a spoon.
Jack Black.
Jack Black was great, but we'll talk. And we can certainly talk about that if you want. But really quick to my point. So, and then in seeing Jumanji, I saw a Black Panther trailer the first time I saw the trailer, and I was like, "Wow, that looks really fucking good." So I went and saw We went and saw Black Panther the next night. Now again, Solo was the same thing. I watched the Super Bowl, but I didn't watch any of the trailer or any of the commercials. So I didn't see the teaser trailer. I didn't see the full reveal. I'm not the biggest Rogue One fan at all, so I didn't care. And again, I'm a prequel guy, so I don't hold the love for Han Solo that everybody else does, that people do. And so I'm like, whatever. I don't really care. It was going to be the first Star Wars movie in being alive and old enough for that I didn't see in the theaters. Then seeing Black Panther, I saw the trailer in
You're
IMAX.
the biggest fucking blasphemer.
And I saw the trailer in IMAX. I was like, man, that looks fun. Like, because again, I don't hold Solo to this standard. Like, I didn't cry when he got the lightsaber through his chest. Like, I don't care. I mean, I'm not the biggest Harrison Ford fan. So I'm not that I don't like him. I'm not gonna go like pick out a Harrison Ford movie. So I'm not the biggest Harrison Ford
If you
fan.
do, 6 days, 7 nights.
And you know what's funny? My favorite Harrison Ford movie that comes to mind is apparently one of his worst movies, which is What Lies Beneath, with Michelle Pfeiffer, where he's the killer. Like, I thought that was a lot of fun. I saw that in the theater with my mom. Because me and my mom had this whole like serial killer horror movie thing when I was growing up. Yeah. She dismissed me from school. I want to say 7th grade. I'd have to look at the year to get but I know it was middle school. To take me to go see Hannibal on opening day.
And now you know why he doesn't hold Han Solo in high regard.
Right. But anyway, so seeing it, I mean, now I want to see it, so I'll see it. I think that Glover looks awesome as Lando. I think a Lando standalone movie would have been better. But like all these nitpicks that people are upset about, like the Falcon being solid, I understand the technical argument of why it doesn't make sense, but like I don't care.
A Lando movie doesn't have any legs to stand on because his character is so wrapped up in Han Solo that you need Han Solo to be there. Without that card game, he doesn't really exist outside of Bespin.
But I want to see how he meets Chewie. I don't want a Chewie backstory. I just want to see how he meets Chewie. I want to see the whole.
You got a Chewie backstory in the prequels.
Right. I want to see a whole winning, losing, whatever, the Falcon, and I want to kind of see that. So now, based off of what I've heard, Lando in the movie is younger than Lando in Rebels, which means this movie takes place between Episode 3 and Rebels. So that's what I've kind of heard. I don't really know. I'm sure.
I've heard that Lando is in his 20s in this movie, but in his 30s in A New Hope. So he has lived really hard in 10 years.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Vlado? Are you into it or what?
Look, we'll go see Solo. We've seen all the Star Wars movies, usually the opening weekend with the family. So we'll probably do the same for Solo. I don't know that it'll do that well in the box offices. In our prediction show, every year we do a prediction show, and we make predictions about the year coming. And my prediction in the movies was that Solo would do more poorly than Suicide Squad did. So we'll make less money in the US box office than Suicide Squad. So.
I think that sooner or later Star Wars is bound to have a stinker, and I don't really like the guy cast as Solo as it is. So whether or not it happens with Solo, it's gonna happen. I hope it doesn't happen when they make a Kenobi movie. But I think it's safe to say that regardless of our opinions of what the movies coming out are, they have our money anyway. We're gonna go see it.
Yeah, and a Kenobi movie, if done right, will have McGregor, so they can't cast it wrong.
Well, I'm not worried about the casting. I'm worried about the story. I hope the story is good.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure that he'd come back, right? He always said he would.
I would hope so, yeah. So while we're on the Star Wars hook, I would say as far as Star Wars news, the thing that has me the most excited is the Game of Thrones frontrunners doing a Star Wars. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a series or I've heard it's going to be a series. I've heard it's going to be its own trilogy. So a series on the Disney streaming service would be amazing. Personally, I want it to be the Old Republic because
didn't they make an announcement that it was going to be a live action series?
That's what I thought.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been kind of out of the news the last week. I've been stupidly busy. So if that was an announcement, that's awesome. So if it is indeed a series, that's great. But no, personally, I'd like to see it be the Old Republic. I think if anyone can do the Old Republic right, it's Game of Thrones guys.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular timeline or preference you'd like to see them hit?
No, not really. I haven't watched Game of Thrones. I've gone to watch season 1, and I thought I'm going to wait till it's all finished and I'll binge on it then.
Right.
But look, as whatever they do, I don't care as long as they do it well.
Right.
That's pick a era, pick a character, pick a universe or a section of the universe, and just do it well.
Since I can't see everything that's behind you, even though I'm really admiring your bookshelves, that's something I aspire to is fucking bookshelves. I have a problem with shelves, man. I have a lot of shelves, but that's the best. Anyway, outside of Star Wars, since I can't see on the bookshelves, do you have a fandom that you prescribe to more than Star Wars? Is Star Wars the end all be all? What is your favorite thing?
I would say Star Wars, Star Trek. I am equally in both camps, so I will misspeak and say Star Trek when I'm talking about Star Wars as much as I say Star Wars when I'm talking about Star Trek. So I'm an equal opportunity misspeaker.
He wants Han Solo to put his phaser on stun.
Oh, boys. So you obviously lean more towards sci-fi than over fantasy.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was late to the Lord of the Rings. I'm not a big reader. But so all my friends were all about Lord of the Rings when we were in high school and university.
Right.
But until the movies came out, I didn't get to enjoy that. I went and saw the early Hobbit movie, the animated thing in one of the artsy cinemas we have here in Melbourne called the Astor, and it was terrible.
It is terrible.
I enjoy fantasy, but I'd probably say I would, if I had to go on a desert island and pick one genre, it'd be sci-fi. So Stargate, I love Stargate. We sat and watched Stargate as a family. The whole series, all of them, and we're working our way through Next Generation at the moment. So I'm introducing the kids to the geekdom. My kids are way into Harry Potter, but they're also the books they're reading. Your Percy Jackson, the whole series of Brother Band, they go equally between fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah.
So, now, how old are your kids? You have 6, right?
I have 6. So the eldest is 19, so she's doing second year university and or college, as you guys call it, and the youngest is 8, so she's in grade 3, third grade. So
nice.
And between 18 months to 3 years between all the others. So 19, 17, 14, 12, 10, and 8.
Very cool.
That's a lot of time.
It is a lot of time. Yeah, mine. My middle child will be 4 this coming Thursday. My oldest, my daughter, will turn 7 a week and a half later that Sunday. So the 1st and the 11th, and then
both Pisces.
And then what's that?
Both are Pisces.
That sounds about right. I don't follow the signs.
Scorpio.
No, neither do I, but I know because my birthday's on Tuesday. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
And then my
Scorpios.
What's that?
I've heard things about Scorpio, Brandon.
Yeah, it's terrible. I'm terrible. Stay far away.
You're addicted. You're addicted to sex.
Yes, that's true. Like I said, terrible and chafed.
But yeah, and then no, my youngest is October 2nd.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, my kid is due to be born in the distant future. That's right. Yeah.
Very distant future.
Yes, that's right. I'm too busy.
But no, my daughter's obsessed with Disney shows. My son, the middle one, Xavier, he is obsessed with Jurassic Park.
Okay.
So he doesn't.
That makes sense. Dinosaurs.
He doesn't get. But it's like scary dinosaurs. Like the kid is like loves it. And it's funny. The one thing I learned very early, he will root for the dinosaurs. Like he wants them to take the people out.
Why are you surprised by this? You're the father, and your mother took you out of school to go watch fucking
Hannibal. Did you root for Hannibal?
Oh yeah. Oh, Hannibal's the man. He's the good guy.
Apples don't fall far from trees.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Just
they,
like you root for Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I know. No, and he's a Kylo kid too. He's got his Kylo mask that he runs around in,
Right.
and yeah.
But back to the sci-fi for a minute. I wasn't done. The Expanse, Battlestar Galactica, any of that?
So, The Expanse, we tried. I watched the first 2 episodes. It was really slow. I've since heard you really got to get past episode 4.
Yeah, it picks up
really.
because I agree with that.
So can we?
I'll give it another go. Battlestar, big fan of the original series when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to watch that. I couldn't get through the first episode.
You're talking about
reboot,
you went back to watch the 70s version, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
No. So, but the reboot, absolutely all over that. So,
I'm so into I'm 2 seasons into that. I just started it. So I've been binging that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Super good.
Can we
I
talk?
don't know if you want to go to the spin-off, the whatever it was called. The planet that they were from or going to or whatever.
Caprica or Kobo?
Caprica, yeah.
Yep.
There was a spin-off Caprica.
Really?
Didn't hear good.
What was it based around the Cylons?
I'm not sure. It just really didn't sound good enough for me to even try to invest any time in. So
I'll pass on that. I'll stick with the main show.
yeah.
I really want to know what's going on with Gaius and his guardian angel subconscious Cylon. I haven't got an explanation for that yet, but JF tells me I'm going to be let down. So I don't know. We'll see.
Just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, I'll do my best. But it's funny how I denied that show for so long, and then it's become such a fandom for me. I fucking love that show right now. I always thought, blindly that it was just a bad Star Wars ripoff. Maybe the original was. I never saw the original, but this one, fucking awesome.
No. My understanding is the original was just trying to cash in on the Star Wars vibe, and so it was largely a rip-off. But the new one, reboot, definitely worth time.
Totally. What were you saying before I
No,
shut you down?
no, that's fine. I was gonna say, can we talk about that for a second? Like in all of geekdom, like this is a trend that I've been seeing, and there's a show that I love that follows the same trend. But like, if we have to qualify things like gotta get through the first few episodes, that was one thing I always heard about with Arrow. The show Arrow was like, yeah, it's great, just skip the first season because
I like the first season the best because that's when he's dark and he kills people.
And I'm actually the same thing with Gotham. Like I love Gotham, but
that you really do need to skip the first.
Yeah,
season
but that first season, it doesn't know if it wants to be a drama, a cop drama, a police story, a comic book. Like it doesn't have an identity. So every other episode, it's a different motif altogether. But like, and again, I love it. I powered through it, and now, what's his name? The redhead.
From Shameless.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, whatever. He's back as Jerome. And
All I know him is from Shameless because that show's awesome too.
It returns Thursday, and we're supposed to be getting like the true Joker, and I'm so pumped. But anyway, but yeah, so we have this thing. It's like, okay, get through this. Okay, does that not qualify it as being bad? Like, isn't that, whether you're talking about a book or a video game or a movie or a TV show, like, isn't, thank you, Steve, Cameron Monaghan, or Monahan. Like, isn't that the job of a property to like grab onto you in the first episode or in the first half of the season or in the first 20
those
minutes
things
of
are
the
ever
movie?
changing. Directors change, writers change, show studios change. So if it's not getting any traction, they'll switch it up.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of shows, Star Trek, The Next Generation, that get better as they go.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's even like the same with gaming. Like one of the biggest games of the last couple of years has been The Witcher 3, right? So The Witcher 3 and Geralt and everything, like it's an incredible series. And I have zero doubt that Witcher 3 is an incredible game. But I am a completionist when it comes to my gaming. I like to go from start to finish. And Witcher 1 is so damn next to impossible to play because it is so badly designed and developed that it's like, all right, well, if I don't have a starting point, I don't care. So, I mean, again, like, oh yeah, the series is great, but skip the first game. Like, it seems like it's a turnoff to me, and it seems like it's a cop-out that we've had for the last few years in culture in general. Like, it's cool, but skip this.
Yeah, but I don't. So with like the Expanse and stuff, I don't know that you can actually go to episode 4 and start watching from there without having the background. It's just something that you need to grind through. It's
right.
Just while they're establishing characters, while they're establishing the universe in your head, and I guess some shows or series take some time to establish that, and it doesn't meet the pace or the action or the interest sort of thing. So
the Expanse you have to really ride with because you have what is half cop drama and half like episodic military show. You have to wait for these people to really get set on their adventure before anything really happens. So in the meantime, while watching it, I admire, the Black Mirror-esque futurism of the technology in the show. The way the phones work, wicked cool.
Yep.
I want my phone to go whoopah.
You would too, because it expands in 3D in front of you.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
I would
cool.
love the.
And Thomas Jane with that badass haircut that I wish I had. Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right.
Go watch that show.
I worked through episode 3.
I have such a hard time with shows because, like, the only time I get to watch TV is when I'm falling asleep, and I don't want to watch something that I want. Like, so I pick something I've seen a million times. Like, I binged Seinfeld.
Yep.
I had a while where I was binging Will and Grace, and now I'm binging South Park. Bill and Grace. Bill and Grace. Yeah.
Will and Grace seems way too obnoxious to fall asleep to.
I love Will and Grace. No, because you get like the calm, collective gayness of Will. You get the overly eccentric gayness of Jack, and then you just get to stare at Karen's tits. So now, if you could just ignore Grace because she's easily the most obnoxious thing about that show, she's more obnoxious than Jack.
The visualization of that show in my mind makes my eyes burn right now.
You should watch it. It's good.
No, I'm not going to watch it.
It's so good.
I watched an episode where Ron Swanson was there, and he was banging Karen, and what's the other one?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know any of their names.
Because Ron Swanson is actually...
it's the title characters. He was banging Will and Grace. There we go. I know all about that.
Megan Mullally.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. But why are we talking about this?
Because Will and Grace is awesome.
No, it's not awesome.
Just Jack. Anyway, so now I'm on South Park. And I'm up to like season 14. Because I stopped for a while.
So maybe by the time you're 40, you'll be caught up. Because there's like 35 fucking seasons of that show.
I know. And I know I've said it a bunch of times lately, but it is so much more culturally relevant than The Simpsons. Like, they kept the ball going where The Simpsons dropped it. And it's so nice. It's great. Because Cartman is my cartoon doppelganger.
Cartman is your spirit animal.
He's my spirit animal.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I'm not fat, I'm big bone.
Right.
I got AIDS. Are you sure? I'm not just sure. I'm HIV positive. Oh, I loved that episode.
I'm constantly making Mr. Hanky references to the kids.
Oh, can we talk about that for a second?
Shit.
To be called, yeah, no, exactly, shit. Are you aware that shit's a thing now? Like they're making like shit.
Hasn't it always been?
Well, no, like it's like a cultural thing. Like Milton Bradley is making a shit-based game. Like I shit you not. But yeah, like they're riding off the popularity of the poop emoji, and like there's like
I just watched that movie last night.
there's like I haven't seen it yet.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because my niece was at the house and she was watching it.
Wait, hold on. So if somebody holds a gun to your head or a machete, and says you have to pick one,
Was that a Crocodile Dundee reference?
I wasn't
That's
even
not a
intentional.
knife. This is a knife.
I was just making a.
Why did you have to go there,
It
Nate?
doesn't have guns. Anyway, I totally didn't mean to do that. A machete. But no, Pixels or the Emoji Movie.
Not Pixels. I don't think I could
I
stomach
haven't seen
it.
either of them. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I mean, at least Pixels has Adam Sandler.
I'd say at least the Emoji Movie has Patrick Stewart.
That's true. Who is the poop emoji?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I want the poop emoji to be in an emoji butt, and I want him to go. I want him to say, "Beam me down."
The
Scotty."
Emoji Movie was, from what I saw of the Emoji Movie last night, it was nothing but product placement.
Well,
Like
yeah.
literally, you're in an iPhone and all the apps are there, and they spend the whole movie hopping through apps. They literally play Candy Crush in the movie.
Right. And the whole premise is like the emoji has a hard time like making what he's supposed to make.
He's a meh emoji, but for some reason he can make all the other faces, and it's fucked up.
So he's like
So
the
he
Sid
goes-
2.0 version of emojis.
So his parents like are estranged to him because of that, because he doesn't fit in. So like then like the happy president emoji tries to like delete him. So he goes and finds a hacker and tries to get uploaded to the cloud where he's safe.
Man, I was not all that far off with my virtuosity reference, was I?
No, it's Sid 6.7, man. Did you say that? Because I totally tuned you out.
Yeah, you did. I'm like,
fucking
way
love
to
that movie.
not pick up my virtuosity.
No, I didn't. I was.
Yeah.
You were talking, and I was.
I did
thinking
say
about emojis.
I did say 2.0. I got my numerals wrong.
Sid 6.7.
Yeah, that was where Russell Crowe went great, and then went to Gladiator, and then went to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's a New Zealander, not Australian.
Who's that?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Was an intentional non-connection.
That makes him a Kiwi, right?
It does, yes.
Okay, so
Is it that you don't like to be confused, correct?
It's like
There's like stigma there, right?
No, it's. I mean, we are our own like Americans and Canadians. It's like we're often confused because the accents are similar enough that.
there
people
is
who aren't-
no similarity between American and Canadian. I mean, maybe it's because we hear it every day.
No, there is.
Is there?
Yeah, dude, I'm from northern Maine, where Canada and America blur the lines, and I sound just
See,
like
the
a
only
Canadian.
Canadian I regularly talk to is JF, and other than that, it's
Well,
like
he lives in Quebec, and that's totally different.
right. Okay, fair enough.
So right, so okay, so if you have Australians and Kiwis, yeah? Okay.
Yes, Kiwis.
So if you made the direct correlation between Canadians and Americans, where the stereotype is that Canadians are the friendlier version of us, which would it be for you?
Kiwis would say they're friendlier than Australians.
The more
It's-
passive
it's-
bunch?
Yeah, and they're probably right. So, but we don't have. I don't know. We have a larger population. We have more diverse population. They have the Islander, so the native New Zealanders, the Maori. So they have that cultural influence. So there are a lot of differences, but in terms of accents, Americans often confuse us. So, like, not just Americans, a lot of people confuse New Zealanders and Australians.
All that makes me think of is Flight of the Conchords and how that was a never-ending fight for them.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually from New
Yeah.
Zealand. Sorry.
Right. Is that like in the same boat? I mean, what is it? Is it Austria and Germany that get that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a similar sounding accent and
And
Hitler was
usually,
actually
I guess
from
it's
Austria?
The population, the weaker political one who gets offended when they're called the larger one. So
right.
Canadians would take more offense to being called American than vice versa. New Zealanders probably take more offense to being called Australians and vice versa. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, anyone should take offense to being called American at this point.
I think if I was ever lucky enough to get out of this country, I would just tell people I was Canadian.
That's the trick when you go overseas. I'm Canadian.
And I would say it in an apologetic way. I'm Canadian.
I'm sorry.
I'm Canadian. Sorry. Sorry for America.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So we'll get ready to head the rundown here. Why don't you go over again really quick? Kind of like, I mean, I assume it's been a similar type of conversation, but as far as like your particular show, what it's about, and you said for the non-local listeners, it is also streamed on the internet. So maybe give the rundown of where people can find that.
So it is. Science, technology, geek culture. Usually the week's news. It's usually myself with one or two other guest co-hosts, so often that they're regular co-hosts. So usually 2 or 3 of us talking stuff for an hour and a half to 2 hours. We play music if you're listening live. You can check it out on, if you look up It's Not Rocket Surgery on Facebook, or at RCKTSRGRY on Twitter. That's Rocket Surgery with no vowels. So you can find us there, or there's a Rocket Surgery webpage which has the links to the appropriate iTunes page, the TuneIn stream, and all that sort of stuff. So you can find us as many places as I could afford to put it up. So I do it on the cheap.
Right.
That's the way to go, man. I do it on the cheap too. I just show up.
Yeah, I'm the workhorse.
Well, at least you don't find it in.
But to be fair, in the comparison of our actual jobs, you work a lot harder.
No, that's why I just show up, because you saw what I went through today.
Yeah, no, that was a nightmare.
You push milk.
Yeah, I do, and it's fucking horrible.
Yeah, I don't envy you at all.
And I work in a unionized postal job where I only have to work as hard as I want to.
If you could see, so yeah, I push milk, right? So I get to work this morning. I can't talk about this stuff on here. I'll get fired. There were no bars on the load. There were no bars on the load, and it went from the warehouse to the parking spot like that. So that means that I spent a good amount of time picking that all back up this morning. So let's take 400 plus cases and knock it all the fuck over for no reason. Now pick it up. Okay, cool. Now take it all back off the truck. What's that?
Did any of it spill?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, fucking everywhere. Driving down the road, leaving a white tail, man.
Did you cry?
No, I'm over it. It's been years.
Because you shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
No, I know. I let it happen. You just gotta let those things happen, man.
Right.
But fuck you. You know how many times I hear that throughout the fucking week? How you doing? I'm having a shitty fucking day. Yeah, well, there's no use crying over
spilt milk.
Yeah, fuck you. I'm on vacation. This is my first day, so
anyway,
enjoy it.
So check out It's Not Rocket Surgery. If you are local to Melbourne, it's 98.9. If not, then like you said, tune in and a bunch of other places, Facebook. So it was Rocket Surgery without the vowels on Twitter.
Correct.
So be sure to check it out. Vlado, I do appreciate you taking the time to come on and hang out with us. We do cut the show here, as you know, so we'll do the official outro. We do hang out on Twitch for a little while afterwards if you'd like to stick around. I just like to say that because, sometimes people will hang up right away. So, but we'll definitely do that. Again, if you want to catch the post show and you are a podcast listener, you can support the show at patreon.com/IG Studios. The post and show and pre-show recordings are available for anybody for $1 and up. And you get early access to it. So go check out there and support the show if you like this content and the other content provided by the studio. Indie Case Files will be returning really soon with myself and Amy Frost. Brandon and I will be doing something for the wrestling pay-per-view this Sunday. It is the Elimination Chamber. It is the last Raw. Is it a Raw? I think it's a Raw pay-per-view, right?
I don't fucking know.
I believe it is the last Raw pay-per-view. Or maybe it's SmackDown. I don't know. Whatever.
You don't know either.
It's one of the last two pay-per-views.
It's one of the last pay-per-views from one of the brands. Who fucking knows?
I believe we've got Elimination Chamber and then Fastlane, and then it's WrestleMania.
I feel like Fastlane is a SmackDown pay-per-view.
It sounds like it would be, because it's the Fastlane to WrestleMania.
Oh, Jesus
It's
Christ.
so bad. But anyway, so you can catch this show live every Friday night at twitch.tv/InkedGeek Studios, every asterisk, or InkedGeekStudios.tv.
Every ish Friday night.
Our guest next week is Jennifer Lee. I don't have the show notes right in front of me, so I don't know what she's from. But Jennifer Lee will be here next week.
She is from Earth.
From Earth. She's
Presumably.
Maybe. Followed by Matthew Sargent, Harold Sylvester, Derek. Yeah, so we got a pretty good lineup. And then going into April, we've got Krista Cates and franchise friends coming back on. So the last third of the season is going to finish out nice and strong, starting off with this episode here. So a big thank you to our live Twitch audience.
You're the beginning of the erection that is the end of this season.
Had a ball, guys. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Again, a big thank you to our live Twitch audience and all the podcast listeners. And I think that'll do it. So for Vlado, for Brandon, for myself, and for the rest of Ain't Geek Studios, thank you all very much for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
Cool.
Where is it? You've been listening to an Ain't Geek Studios podcast.
I was wondering.
For this and other great shows, go to ain'tgeekstudios.com.